Hey, hey, look what I got here. Neil Young. This is Artie Astor from B Sharp and C doing awesome B-sides. And the B-side that we have now is War of Man by Neil Young from his 1992 album Harvest Moon, which interestingly enough, even though Neil Young has been around since the late 60s, there are some Neil Young fans who will say this album in 1992, in the end of 1992, almost going into 1993. In fact, 1993 is when a lot of people got to be familiarized with the music of Harvest Moon. Um, there are a lot of Neil Young fans who actually will say that Harvest Moon was his best album. I don't want to focus on the album. I love the song Harvest Moon, but I want to focus on this song here, War of Man, that did not get a lot of radio play, did not have a lot of commercial success, but I think it's the best song on the album. I like the song Harvest Moon, but I love this one.
The little creatures running from the cold, back to the nest just like the days of old. They're in the safety of a mother's arms, the warmth of ages far away from harm again.
All right, so something you're not going to get with Neil Young is perfect guitar playing. It's double tracked because you can hear some strings or some strumming being done like up here in the upper portion of the left side of the head, and then you hear some strings more like higher notes being played over here. So he's more than likely doing double tracked guitars and just having them pan out a little bit. I love the simplicity of it. I love the percussion, and I don't know why. And I would look at this as an example of another example of how something simple, how something apparently insignificant can make a song sound so good. Okay, now you hear the guitar strumming. Now you hear that drum come in. It sounds like a well, like a floor tom or a kick.
The little creatures
With a snare. It sounds like he starts singing really simple stuff. Really great lyrics too, by the way.
running from the cold, back to the nest just like the days of old. They're in the safety of
I love the bass. Right, it's not too much going on with the engineering.
mother's arms, the warmth of ages far.
So you have the kick drum, you have a pretty melodic bass line, and you have the singing, and you have the double tracked and then panned guitar tracks. I almost get the impression.
Away from harm again.
So then right here you have like a musical interlude, a little bit of a change in the chords, um, and a snare drum coming in just on every beat, right? And you can hear imperfections in the recording. With Neil Young, it really was about the song. It was about the song. I'm not saying he was against engineering and producing, um, but he at his core, he was a songwriter. I mean, you hear his arm slide and hit the neck of the guitar, or you hear something at about 43 seconds. From 42 to 43, you hear something, and they'd leave it in. So, okay, so let me just break down why this song is simple. So it starts off, let me just see if I remember the chords. I made some notes. I have them on my screen here. And I've been doing that lately, using websites to kind of see what other people think the chord changes are, and then going with what I think the chord changes are. Many times the websites are like 90%, 80% accurate, and then you have to kind of figure stuff out on your own. But it is not easy to figure out chords to a song, especially when you have someone like Neil Young, who wasn't tied to theory. Neil Young wasn't like, okay, I played a C, and then I played a G. Now it's only logical that I go to this chord over here and do this. And you know, he doesn't necessarily follow the rules that everyone else follows, because he really did play what sounded good, and he didn't care what the chord looked like. Oh, I'm not supposed to play the F sharp add 9 major 7. Oh, sorry. Like he doesn't care. So, and that's one of that kind of can make it harder for people who are trying to figure out the song, but at the same time, it could make it easier, because not everything needs to make sense, if that makes sense. So it's really nice when you stop and think of it. So I don't know what the lyrics are, but he starts off with a C chord with a D bass, and then goes to an actual D major, and then a D minor 7, and then a B flat. And that's nice because you have the flat 6, the flat 7 going into kind of the root, which is D minor, but it's a weird D minor type of chord, or a weird D minor type of song. Because then, instead of going and resolving, he goes back to the verses, which is still a C with a D bass, right? And then he continues to sing. And I just love that.
Safety of a mother's arms, the warmth of ages far away from harm again.
All right, this part right here I like, because it's super simple. And going over that actually helped me figure out the chord changes. So I got that little riff that he was doing there, and there was a website that was saying the chord changes for this part are D minor, and then B flat, C, D minor, B flat, C. But I noticed something on the first part of that riff where he's actually doing the guitar. And I was like, that doesn't sound right over the C chord. And now, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but that makes it like a C6. It almost makes more sense that the chords would be back. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. Let me go back to that part. I'll have to play with that a little bit more. I believe the B flat sounds a little bit off. is ending on the A, and then so usually when you have a riff like that, it kind of goes along with the chord changes and it plays chord tones, notes out of the chord. No, I don't think that's a C right there. I mean, I don't know. I don't. A couple websites say it's a C. It doesn't necessarily sound right to me. It sounds more like it goes from a.
The warmth of age is far away from harm again.
All throughout that, you can hear the pick hitting the guitar. You can hear noises. Really, really, really raw. And this is 1992. They didn't necessarily have to make it that raw, but he wanted to, and I don't blame him. Well, let's continue with the song because after that, we haven't even gotten to the chorus yet, right? So we've had the verses and then like a musical interlude. Yeah, let's continue.
Is ringing from the battle fire. The tired warrior aims a little higher. The black falcon or the little sparrow. The healing light or the flash of the barrel.
In my opinion, there aren't too many choruses that just sound this good. There's a little something because while he's doing those chords like I was just talking about, there are chords underneath it. And what's weird is that it does that twice. And on the last time, when it goes back to D minor, right here, it should be the end of that riff, but that D minor is the beginning of the chorus, which is why the chorus seems to kind of sneak in. It's one of those sleepers. It's the chorus kind of just sneaks in. I screwed that up, but I think it's yeah, something like that. See if I can get it right this time. Let me move this.
No one wins. It's a war of
man. So yeah, so it's D minor. I'm telling you, it's a sleeper chorus.
barrel. the healing light or the flash of the barrel. No one wins, it's a war of man. No one wins, it's a war of man.
I don't know, my sustain pedal's not working for some reason. Why's my sustain pedal not working? So my sustain pedal works on my grand piano, but not my organ. I like the sustain pedal even on my organ. Let me see if I can change the organ sound. Huh. I love that chord. A sus2. I don't like that. I really, really, really don't like that. When I'm performing, I know that there are some organs that don't have sustain pedals, so it's like, well, why do you need a sustain pedal? The organ doesn't come with a sustain pedal. When you're used to playing different things or many things at the same time, you can hit an A minor chord, put your foot on the sustain pedal, so it stays. Now it's not staying, but then as it's playing, as it stays, you have free hands, and now you can go over to another keyboard if you wanted to and set that up while your foot's on the sustain pedal, and that chord is sounding. Bad Logic Pro. Bad Logic Pro. You got to fix that. That's just bad. That's bad. Yeah, there are some things that like and that's something that like, and don't forget, I had to delete Reason from my computer because number one, it wasn't compatible with my MacBook, and number two, it was taking up like 900 trillion gigabytes of space, and I just I needed that. But anyways, let's go back to the song. Let me go back to piano so I can have some kind of sustain. Look, no hands. And then it's going to stop. Ready? Back to the song.
No one wins, it's a war of man.
Love the bass.
Silver mane flying in.
You hear that background sound? I don't know what that is. Like an organ or a person singing, like almost like a choral arrangement.
Silver mane flying in the wind, down through the planets on
You hear
the
that?
run again. No one knows where they're running to, but every kind is coming two by two. Out on the delta where the hoofbeats pound, the daddy's running on the frozen ground. Can smell the poison as it follows him. Can't see the gas in machines. It's a war of man.
Little something different, right? There are a lot of verses in this song, so might as well change it up. A lot of tracks too. You get like 4 vocal tracks there. Crazy effects too, like reverb on that on the vocal tracks.
The baby creatures running from the cold, back to their nest just like the days of old.
So I think this is the first line. Yeah, first line.
They're in the safety of a mother's arms, the warmth of ages far away from harm again.
I love that snare drum.
No one wins, it's a war of man.
It's different this time around. So simple.
No one wins, it's a war of man. No one wins. No one wins.
The amount of times you hear the pick in his hand hitting the guitar, it's really too many to count. And I here's the thing about this song that I like. You can hear the pick hitting the guitar. You hear all these sounds, and you can tell he's playing an acoustic, just right into and it's just a mic'd acoustic. It's not an electric acoustic. It's an acoustic with a microphone right in front of him. And you would think that the whole song would have this really strong acoustic vibe because of how raw that aspect of the song is. But the rest of the song actually really isn't that raw, if that makes any sense. It's a production. The song was made in the studio. It had a producer and an engineer, and things were panned and things were done, and there was stuff done in post, and there were effects on the women on the backing track, on the accompaniment. There was all this stuff going on, but yet you had the extremely raw feel of him just playing the guitar in front of his microphone, and I don't know. And then the lyrics too, they're just, it says this drop D tuning, which makes sense, because that D is in the bass for everything. The little creatures running from the cold, back from the nest just like the days of old, right? There's a lot of D in there. So the first couple of chords, you have a C with a D bass. Then you just go to the D. Then it's a D minor 7, right? And then you have a B flat. And then it goes back to the C with the D bass. Really, really, really just fantastic. Fantastic and simple. And, it's weird because the more I learn about music, the more I study about music, the more I talk about music, the more I try to figure out some cool chord voicings like I love the G9, G minor 9. I love crazy chord voicings, but the more I learn about different chord voicings and the more I reach out and try to figure out all these complicated things, the more I realize it's not all that necessary, because a lot of people who have the feel for pentatonics, and when I say that, I say the feel for pentatonics because a lot of people don't realize that they like pentatonics. You know, they like, a good example would be listening to like David Gilmour from Pink Floyd solo. A lot of pentatonic work, and then he would throw in a two. He played a lot of, he would add the two or the nine in a lot of his solos, but a lot of that is pentatonic. And you know, the Dogs, the solo for Dogs is like almost all pentatonic, you know, and it sounds so good. So when I say people have an ear for pentatonic, some people just gravitate toward, like Prince, the amount of stuff he did out of the major pentatonic scale. And a lot of Prince fans sometimes don't realize, but they gravitate to that sound. They like that major pentatonic sound, and especially the way that Prince used it. Not everyone soloed the way Prince did. Prince knew what notes to rest on, and things like that. And he had just great phrasings that he would create with his guitar playing, and mostly guitar playing. I was more amazed by his guitar playing than anything, you know. And I know he was good with the bass, and I know he played keyboard and 76 other instruments, but I mean, a lot of people have an ear for pentatonics. And when people have an ear for pentatonics, if you gravitate towards that, usually you don't gravitate towards crazy jazz voicings and modes and certain phrasings out of the scale. A lot of times we train our ears for something that we like. And I feel as though when that's the case, something that is, you know, and I keep calling it simple, but it's really not simple because it's complex at its core, but something that is not overly complex actually draws us in. And then when you have something like this song here has so much space, there's so many things going on, and you can solo. I mean, that was all D minor pentatonic that I was just playing. But the song creates so much space. And because there's so much space, you can create a lot in it. And for people who have a musical mind, sometimes in their head, they're kind of accompanying the song without even realizing that they are, because the song affords itself that space to put yourself in it. So a lot of people who are musical or who have a musical leaning, or even people who aren't necessarily musical or musicians, they hear the space, and they can allow their imagination to put themselves in the song. The song isn't crowded so that we can't identify with it. We can't put ourselves in it. This song here from the album Harvest Moon, the name of the song is War of Man. I think the song here just lends itself to that. And when the song does do stuff, it's beautiful. And is it just me, or does this chorus really hit you in the heart? Not here, not yet. This is the musical interlude. Ready?
No one wins. It's a war of man.
And there's that little bit of Hammond organ or jazz organ in the background in the right ear, just during that part. And so it's got everything. It's raw. I don't know. I can just keep, I know I'm starting to ramble on right now, and I don't want to do that. So anyways, check out this song. It's War of Man by Neil Young. I think this is probably one of his best songs, and it's a B-side. So anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening to the video and for staying with me. This is Artie Astor from B Sharp and C saying until next time, keep it groovy.